Hello, welcome back to a new episode, a new edition, if you will, of the Shane and I podcast. My name is Shane, and I am still here by myself. Max is still on vacation. I think he's coming back sometime next month, so we are going to talk about his great adventure when he gets back. But as of now, I told you guys I'd get you 2 of these out this month, so this is the second one I'm doing on my own. Yeah, man. So hopefully you like it. I mean, 7 people listened to the last podcast, so if those 7 people tell 7 more people, that'll be 14 people listening to our podcast, and that'll be enough money to get a really good cup of coffee. So, that's all I'm aiming for with this podcast. I just want to put some fucking coffee money. That's all I really want. So, if you tell 7 of your friends to listen to our podcast, I could get me a fancy coffee. So here's the thing I was thinking about today. I've been thinking about a couple things that I want to talk about in this podcast. But the first thing is this. So I like going to the gym, and I like working out. And with that, I work out sometimes like I still think I'm 30 years old, which is good and which isn't good. Every once in a while I get super sore and I have a tough time falling asleep, which I will need to get. If that happens, I will need to have a Motrin PM or an Advil PM, something like that. Tell me fall asleep. Anyway, about a month ago I took one. I went to sleep. I didn't have any problems falling asleep after I took it. But I'll tell you what, man, these Motrin PMs or these Advil, it was Motrin PM that I took. I had the fucking weirdest fucking dreams. Alright, so check it out. Maybe you can analyze my dream for me. So I had this dream that I was in a car. I wasn't in my car, but I was in a car. And I was fucking driving down this highway. And I was just randomly running into other cars. I was randomly running into other people. I was like hitting people in this car I was in. And it wasn't my car that I was in. I was in like one of those Fast and Furious cars, right? One of those cars from the Fast and Furious. And there's like 2 people in the car. And they're like egging me on. Like every time I fucking hit something, they're like, yeah, man, yeah, go hit that motherfucker. Let's go hit that guy. Yeah, do it, man. Just hit that guy. Throw on the nitrous jets and we'll fucking do 150 miles an hour and we'll fucking hit that guy. And so I would, right? I'd throw on the nitrous jets and I'd fucking hit something. And laughing the whole time. So, this is going on for a while, right? I'm hitting things. I'm randomly running into people. And these people are egging me on. And the car in this dream is like this purple, is one of those neon purple jobs from Fast and the Furious. And I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie probably in a while, but for some reason I'm getting egged on by these 2 people in my car, and eventually I get pulled over by a cop in the dream. And now I need to tell a backstory in order to tell this part of the story. So when I was younger and I would get in trouble, I would always say it wasn't me, right? You could catch me red-handed doing something. Red-handed, videotape, whatever you got. You could catch me red-handed doing something and I would sit there and tell you it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I never got away with it because obviously it was me. But that was my MO. If I got caught doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing, or I got caught maybe stealing something that I shouldn't be stealing, I'm talking younger. I stole things when I was younger. Little shoplifting here and there. Never hurt anybody. Anyway, I would always try to convince them it wasn't me. And it never worked. So, fast forward back to my dream. So, there I am. I get pulled over by this cop in my dream. And he's like, excuse me, sir, do you know why you're running into cars? Like, not the fact that he was going to arrest me on the spot or anything like that. This is the weird part of the dream, right? He's like, do you know why you're hitting cars? And I was like, well, I don't know. And here's the other weird part about this part of the dream. It's the fact that the 2 people that were riding in the car are no longer there. The people that were egging me on are no longer there. And it's just me. And I'm talking to this cop. And he's like, hey, do you know why you're just randomly running into other cars? And I was like, no, I don't. I think it's fun. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. It seems like it would be fun. And I'm like, yeah, it is fun. And he was like, okay, go about your merry way. Go about your fucking merry way? Like, and then he was like, but, you know, I have to get back to this point of it wasn't me. So he's like, go about your merry way. But we have to talk to you about this other thing that's going on. And I don't know what the other thing was. And I just remember him talking to me in the dream about this other thing. And I was like, you know what? It wasn't me. And he was like, no, but we have you on video doing this other thing. And it's kind of it's a bigger deal than you running into cars. Whatever this other thing was a bigger deal than me randomly hitting cars and running people over in this dream. Right? Whatever this other thing was, I don't remember what it was, but it was bigger than me running into other cars and running into people on the road. And he was like, you know, we're going to have to take you in. And I'm like, dude, it wasn't me. Right? I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. And he believed me. Like, in my dream, he believed me. He was already like, go about your merry way because, you know, it seems like you're having fun hitting people in your car. And, you know, I told him it wasn't me that was doing this other thing that they had me on video supposedly of doing. And he let me go. Like, it's the only time I've ever got away with using it wasn't me. So here's the crazy part about the dream. And this is why I kind of think that, you know, maybe it needs to be analyzed, is because the cop leaves, I'm driving in the car again, I throw on the nitrous, I'm doing 157 miles an hour down the road, and the other two people show up again. And they're both egging me on. They're like, yeah, just run into people, just go and do it. And I don't even ask questions like, hey, where the fuck were you guys when I was getting harassed by that cop back there? I'm just like, okay, you know, we come down this road, we're winding down this road, and we're winding down, and there's a semi-truck coming through, and I go all Fast and Furious style, I go through the semi-truck, like I jump through the semi-truck, right, all Fast and Furious, explosions coming out, these guys are egging me on in the car, they're like, yeah, just go, yeah, keep driving, keep going, yeah, and I get to this spot where I have to stop, and there's a brick wall, right? Logically, you would think, having a brick wall right there, it's time to stop. The fun's over. And I remember this dream because it was this vivid of a dream. You're like sitting there saying, you know, you're probably just making this up. No, I'm not making this. I remember this dream. And just because it was so vivid. Motrin PM dreams, man, they're crazy. Anyway, back to my story. So we're sitting there, we're about 30 feet from this brick wall, and these people are egging me on to go right through the wall. They're like, dude, just go, you'll just go right through the wall, like you went right through that truck. And I believed them. And I was like, you know what, I think you're right. I think I will go right through this wall, and I'll be okay. And so there I go. I fucking floor it, throw on the nitrous, and I'm doing almost 200 miles an hour, and I hit the wall, and I go through the windshield, and then I wake up. That's it. That's my Motrin dream, my Motrin PM dream. So anyway, a few weeks goes by, right? And I still remember this dream, and I'm like, and like the next day after that dream, I was like, man, that was a really fucked up dream. And I could remember, like, I was driving. I wasn't driving all crazy, like I was doing the speed limit, I was very careful where I parked, I was very careful, like I was petrified that I was going to hit somebody. I could remember that. Anyway, fast forward a couple weeks, right? Probably a month later. Same thing happens. I need a little help going to sleep. My body's sore from working out that week, and I take another one, right? It's not going to happen again. It wasn't the Motrin PM that made me have that crazy dream. It was just a crazy dream. That was my justification for taking the Motrin PM again, right? So I fucking take this stuff again, and I fall asleep, and I have another fucking dream where I'm in the car again, only this time I'm in a goddamn semi-truck, and these people are back in my dream, egging me on, and I'm fucking, and this time I'm not only driving down this windy road that I have no idea why I'm on a windy road, but I'm hitting bicyclists as they're driving down this road. Like, we're winding down this hill, and I keep hitting bicyclists, and they're giving me points for every time I hit a bicyclist in a semi, mind you. And I'm driving, and I'm pinging people off. They're like, oh, that guy was only a 10 because he was already on the side of the road. And so you got to hit. Or you could remember in the dream there was like a group of them, and they were like riding right in front of me in this semi truck. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna run them all over. And the guys in the back of the car were like, yeah, just run them all over. It'll be fun. That'll be worth like 1,000 points, and then we'll be done with this game, and we'll win the game. And I don't even know what the fuck the game is, but I'm playing it. I'm playing it, and I want to win. So I run down all these bicyclists in this semi truck, right? And man, I'm just driving along, hitting cars. I can remember at one point I get stuck in traffic. I back the semi up. I run over all these cars in the traffic. I back it forward and I total all these other cars. I get out of the way and I'm driving again and I get pulled over by the cops again in this dream, right? And the cop is like, "Hey, why are you randomly running over 10 speeders? Nothing about the cars I just told this time. He just wants to know why I'm running over 10 speeders." And I'm like, you know what? It wasn't me. I didn't do it. You can't prove it. And he's like, no, we have video of you doing this. And I'm like, you know what? It wasn't. No, you don't. It wasn't me. You don't have any proof. And he was like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. We're going to let you go. Second time I get away with this, it wasn't me in my dream. And so I go forth, hold my head held high, I go forth, right? And my head held high, I go forth. And I'm driving this semi-truck, and these people are in back of me. I don't even know who the fuck these people are, but they're egging me on. I've never seen them before. And they're egging me on, and they're like, yeah, just go. And at one point, we're going around this turn, and the trailer comes off the semi-truck, and it just goes up in flames. And as we're going around this turn, and the trailer comes off, the truck starts rolling. And I'm rolling in this truck down this cliff, and I go off this bridge, and then I wake up again. And that was it. And then I was convinced, after that dream, I was convinced it was the Motrin PM that was giving me these weird-ass dreams, right? And that maybe I should be prepared that every time I take a Motrin PM, I'm going to have some crazy car riding dream. But I don't know. If you're out there and you're listening to this still after this exciting story, maybe you could tell me why it is that I'm having car dreams in my car dreams, right? Why am I in a car? Why am I in a car? Why am I hitting things in a car? I'm going to tell you, both times after I had these dreams, I drove so carefully the next day. Like, it was like an old man driving. Like, I was careful where I parked. I didn't want to hit anybody. Like, the dreams were pretty vivid. I mean, like I said, I still remember them. So they were like super vivid. And I could see that maybe they need to be analyzed. Maybe my dreams need to be shrunk. I don't know. But they were pretty strange. And I don't know what to think about it, because they weren't scary, but I could remember after having those dreams, like I didn't want to really like hit anybody in my car. So they did that for me, I guess. The coronavirus is coming around too. That's starting to become a real thing. It is affecting a lot of people. And the only reason I'm talking about the coronavirus is because it reminds me a lot of how the story in World War Z started. If you go back and read Max Brooks' brilliant book, World War Z, how the zombie apocalypse starts in that book, it starts from a plague. It starts from people having a flu-like symptoms and getting really sick, and then turning into fucking really fast zombies that are going to come and get you. the crazy part is I haven't read the book in a while, but I think it starts in the same spot that the actual outbreak. I think it started in China and it worked its way to South America in the book. But if you get a chance, if you read that book, I just read it again recently, and I was a bit freaked out about how close to what's going on that it was. The beginning of the book anyways. Don't watch the movie because that movie was a piece of crap and it doesn't do the book justice. If you need to do something, get the audiobook, because the audiobook has Steven Tyler in it from Aerosmith and Henry Rollins doing a voice. The audiobook is really fucking good too, but it is creepy how close it kind of mimics what's going on in the country. And I know you're sitting there and you're thinking, and people that I've talked to about this are all like, oh no, it's not the start of the zombie apocalypse. I'm telling you, the zombie apocalypse is coming and you need to be ready, right? I am not going to get eaten by some fucking zombies, right? I have a bug out bag ready, I have a plan, and I know what I'm going to do if the zombie apocalypse comes. And call me crazy, but I think it's coming. I think we are looking at a zombie apocalypse. Read that book. And I know it's a work of fiction, but you're going to get freaked out about how eerie close it is to what's going on. Max Brooks, World War Z. Either read it or get the audiobook, because I guarantee you're gonna think the way I did after you read it. I mean, I reread it recently too, after all this stuff was starting to happen with the coronavirus. And the beginning of the book, I'm pretty sure I've already mentioned it, but I think it starts in China or South America, one of the two, but it starts the same way. It starts with a flu, people are getting sick, and there's no cure for it, and then all of a sudden they find a cure for it, I think, in the book, if I remember right, and then the cure doesn't work and it mutates, and that's how they become zombies. And I guarantee we're looking at a zombie apocalypse. I guarantee that crazy shit is gonna start happening, and maybe I'm going with the conspiracy theory here. Maybe I'm just a little out of my mind. I don't know, but it's my podcast, like I said before, and I can talk about this stuff. What do you think? Do you think the coronavirus is the start of the zombie apocalypse? Are you prepared? I mean, I'm prepared. I got a little fucking bug out bag. I know how to hunt. I know how to fish. I know where to go in case. I've had a plan in case of a zombie apocalypse for years, because I thought a long time ago there was going to be a zombie apocalypse, but there wasn't. But I'm convinced with this coronavirus, I'm pretty convinced that there's a zombie apocalypse coming, and we need to be ready. We need to be fucking ready, and or they're going to cure it and we're going to be fine, which is probably what's going to happen. They're going to probably cure it and we're going to be okay. So, but read that book, man. Read Max Brooks, World War Z, and you're going to see how close it is to the zombie apocalypse. How close it is to what's going on right now with the coronavirus. So there's that. That was just my little rant about the zombie apocalypse. What else is going on in the world, in my world? Let's see. Okay, here's another thing. There's a guy in Toronto. In case you guys forgot, I have a YouTube channel. We did an episode called Poo Man a while back, where we talked about a guy that liked doing poo art. He liked smearing poo on people on the streets. Anyway, that guy got sick, and he wound up having to go to the hospital. And in the hospital, he decided to do some poo art in the hospital, and he wiped all the walls with poo. He was wanted for that, and he escaped. They never found him, so Poo Man was at large for a while. Recently, they arrested a guy in Toronto who was throwing poop on people. You heard me right. He was throwing poop on people. Not like solid poos. He was somehow throwing buckets of liquefied poo. In the article that I read, it said that they were 5-gallon buckets of poop that he was throwing on people. He didn't say if it was full or not, but I mean, that's a pretty big bucket of poo to be thrown on somebody. And he didn't do it once, he did it 5 times in one fucking day. That's a lot of poop to throw on people. That's like every few minutes you're throwing poop on somebody. How do you not, my question is how do you get that much poop throughout the day? Not only that much poop, but how do you liquefy it? Like, do you boil it down? If it comes out solid, do you boil it down? Do you think that long and hard? I guess if you're throwing a poop on people, like, it's a premeditative thing, right? It's premeditated that you're gonna throw it on. So you might do a solid and then melt it down, like boil it down. I don't know, boil it, water it down, mix it with water. I don't know. I'm assuming that you're already thinking that you're gonna throw this stuff on people. So you give yourself a bunch of laxatives, so you fill up the bucket, and then that's how you go get it liquefied. At some point, they're not gonna all be liquefied poops. That's what I'm saying, right? So you have to figure that this guy watered him down and mixed them in order to throw them at somebody. The article also said that it was 5 people in one day. So that's more poop than a normal man. I only poop twice in one day. Once in the morning, once in the evening. That's just me. That is 5 buckets of poo on individuals that you're throwing. Liquefied. It just boggles my mind. I can't. And they're 5-gallon buckets. Anyway, so Poo Man wound up getting himself arrested. He was caught this time. And they're saying that it's the same guy. It was the same guy. He went from New York or wherever he was on the East Coast. He went up to Toronto. And they're saying it was the same guy. I guess he thought he could get away with it in Toronto because they had a mayor that smoked crack. Who knows? But he didn't get away with it. He was actually caught and apprehended. And he's looking at assault. And he's gonna get 3 years in jail. They're going for the max. They're going for 6, but he'll probably get 3. And even if it's jail, you gotta worry that the fact that this guy's gonna have a cellmate, and that cellmate's gonna have to put up with the fact that this guy wipes poo on people, or he wipes poo all over the walls. So I bet what winds up happening is he winds up doing most of his time in solitary confinement, because you can't find a cellmate that's gonna want to be with this guy because he's gonna get poo wiped on him, and those toilets in jails are like right there, so he's gonna see him going in there and getting the shit and wiping it on people. So I don't know. It just seems like Poo Man just lost out, and I'm pretty sure he'll do the rest of his time in solitary confinement. So I think that's it. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. Let's see. I talked about my weird ass dreams. So if you want to analyze my dream, feel free to let me know what you think of my dreams. With the cars and the Fast and the Furious and the semi-truck. The semi-truck one was kind of weird. I didn't mind the Fast and the Furious car, but the semi-truck, that was weird to me. And the fact that I got away with it was weird too. Let's see what else. We talked about that. I talked about the zombie apocalypse coming. Like I said before, it's coming. Whether you think so or not, the zombie apocalypse, it's on its way. Read World War Z, and you'll see. I made that rhyme. How about that? There we go again. Rhyming. I should do some rap. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I talked about that. I talked about Poo Man, gave you a little recap on Poo Man. I think that is going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. Please download it. Give me a like or whatever you got to do. And until next time, America, don't shoot.